Hey guys, I apologize about that. I seem to have gotten kicked off of the server somehow, so it took me just a minute. I pretty much just started a new live stream, so it took me just a couple of minutes to get back up. I had about 20 minutes to go still on the stream, so I figured I would hop back on. I know we had about 280 people with us, so not sure how many of you guys will be back, but I appreciate those of you that do decide to hop back on here. Figure I'll just start back by talking about, what makes a good powder board. I had mentioned, that's something I wanted to talk about today on this live stream. What's up, guys? Chris, Nick, thanks all you guys for hopping back on here. Yeah, we'll keep this rolling. Won't let a little interruption stop us, but I do apologize about that. Yeah, so as far as a powder board goes, there's a few key pieces of tech that I think really create that next level powder performance. Two of the biggest things is going to be having a setback stance as well as a taper. So a setback stance means that the insert pack is just a little bit closer to the tail than the nose within the side cut. Or within the contact points, I should say. And the contact points, if you guys don't know, are the widest points on the snowboard that give you most of the control. And a taper basically just means that the tail is a little bit skinnier than the nose. So basically those two things combined are going to help drop that tail in the powder. And the setback stance is also going to help naturally keep your weight back. So those are two of the biggest things I would look out for on a powder board. Also, a really common thing going on right now in that field is having a volume shifted board. So that just a wider shape. So, if you look at boards like the Yes 420 that Kevin rides or the K287 that I ride, both of those are going to be naturally wide. The K2 Party Platter as well. The Ride War Pig, even though that's not necessarily really a powder board, but it is naturally wide, which is going to help give you more float as well. So that's something to look out for. And then I guess on the really super powder specific boards, you're going to find the stance is set back extremely far, basically to the point where there's almost no tail, like a very, very minimal tail. And so that's also basically the same idea, just helping keep your weight back on the snowboard, helping to drop that tail in the powder, keep that nose up, and really allow you to ride in the powder with your weight centered and not having to deal with that rear leg fatigue that's all too common on powder days. So those are the things I'd look out for on a powder board. I also find that those same two pieces of tech help for carving as well. I find that boards with a setback stance and a taper tend to set a really strong edge, and they're very maneuverable, so they're a lot of fun for carving as well. And one last thing on boards like the Burton Deep Thinker comes to mind. There's a lot of other boards doing it as well. It's what they call a shifted camber. So camber running from the front insert pack or just outside the front insert pack, going all the way to the tail, full camber with rocker in the nose. You'll hear me talk about this a little bit in the Burton Flight Attendant snowboard review, so I hope you guys have checked that out. Another thing that does is when you activate that camber, it pushes the rocker nose up, so it helps to even lift that nose up a little bit higher when you're in the powder as well. So yeah, those are the key things I would look for if you're looking for a powder board. Also for free ride shapes, just some kind of high level tech that you'll find in a lot of boards in that category. But I would say those are things that are critical, that are going to make the biggest difference for helping you float in powder. You're always going to be making a compromise if you try to make a true twin work in powder, or a mountain twin, any twinish style snowboard. All right, so already a bunch of comments coming in. Philip from Ohio, Jack Donovan, LZ, what's up guys? Andrew, good to see all you guys. Luggy 93 from Germany, awesome, glad you could be here, man. The snow is really starting to come down, guys. This is gnarly. I think I might have to hop inside for the Patreon stream. Connor McCarthy from Parker, that's over near Denver, awesome, good to see you, man. Jared Heber, any advice for snowboarding on ice? Yeah, I would say, if you're on a really icy slope, go with the fall line. It's going to be much harder to hold an edge and actually kind of traverse along the direction you want to go on ice. So I would say follow the fall line until you get to some better snow, and then start carving again. Also, you don't want to be really aggressively lifting your edges, like on your heel or your toe edge, because there's a much higher chance of you slipping out. So just be careful, keep it a little bit mellower, and really just, yeah, follow the fall line until you get to some better snow. I'd say those are my biggest tips for ice. Oh man, it is coming down, guys. This is gnarly. Tomorrow might actually be a POW day after all. We'll see. Alright. DHNS, for all mountain, would you recommend the T-Rice Pro or the Niche Ether? I am not super familiar with the Ether from Niche. I know a little bit about it, and I think I would personally go with the T-Rice Pro. Honestly, that's just because I'm a little more familiar with it, but I do think the T-Rice Pro is a little more aggressive. I know the magnet traction on it is more aggressive, so you're going to get better grip on ice, and it's also got a really great profile, rocker dominant profile, that's going to help you float in powder, as well as but it has that stiffness and stability, so it's still good in other free ride situations. So I think the T-Rice is awesome. I know Kevin's been really stoked on it. If you guys have been seeing him ride it around in a lot of the recent videos. David Kissin, thoughts on the Solomon Villain? Yeah, so the Villain made it into my top 5 list this year. And yeah, it's a great board, definitely a freestyle oriented snowboard. It's nice and poppy, but still very pressable. I'd say definitely on the softer side of medium. And yeah, just definitely kind of a good all-around freestyle snowboard, whether you want to hit jumps, hit rails, pretty much good for whatever. Stephen C, how many inches are you guys going to get? So the forecast says 1 to 3, but we have some really thick snowflakes now. I don't know how well you guys can see it in the video, and it's coming down pretty fast, so hopefully we'll get more than that. And I'm in Silverthorne, so on the mountains it's probably snowing even harder. So I saw a super chat come through here from Fate Tack. Thank you for the super chat, man. Just saying, hey, I love your videos. Appreciate it, man. Thank you for watching. I'm glad you've been enjoying the videos. I hope that they help you out. And yeah, we're gonna keep them coming. Awesome, guys. Thank you for all the super chats today, guys. All right, I'm gonna scroll back up here. Monkey Bear from Herefordshire, England. Awesome, man. Thanks, you could be on here. Deep Wanderer, Scott Stevens Union Bindings opinion, please. Yeah, so the Scott Stevens are the Union Contact. That's the binding I rode all last year. It's a lot of fun. Great bindings. I would say, they're a little bit more surfy than the Union Force, just a little bit softer, more flexy. They also have that mini disc base plate, so you get a little bit of a more natural flex out of the snowboard, reducing that dead zone where the base plate connects to the snowboard. So yeah, they're a lot of fun. I used them for like everything I did last year. I rode powder, big mountain, park, and they held up really well. So I'd say they're a solid binding. The Scott Stevens colorway is pretty wild this year. So if that's what you're leaning towards, or that sounds like the riding you want to do, I would say go for it. But I would say that's more of a freestyle binding. If you want a more versatile do-it-all binding, I'd go for the Force. We have from Corkin12 here asking, how do you reduce heel lift? So that's really something that you want to be focusing on as you're purchasing your boots, but sounds like you already have your boots, you have some heel lift. There's a few things you can do. If your boots have the option to add donuts on the side around your ankles, that can help just kind of snug that down, holding your heels in. You could look at probably the best first thing to do would be looking at getting some insoles, whether that's a drop-in insole or a custom orthotic, which is just going to take up some more volume in the boot, keeping your boot pressed up against the top and just fit, more how it's supposed to, just you know, reducing wiggle room in there, which can cause foot fatigue and weird cramps and things like that, and also help with heel lift. You could look at putting shims under the insole if you need to as well to take up more volume, J-bars in the side, but really I would say if you live near a shop, you know, go to a shop and have them help you out, or even a ski boot shop. You know, if they don't sell snowboard boots, there's a lot of customization that goes into ski boot fits, and those are going to be the types of materials that you're going to need to fix the snowboard boot heel lift as well. So hope you can get in there and get that resolved, because heel lift is definitely something you want to avoid, man. Sorry you're having to deal with that. Along similar lines, Rasmus M, how do I fix foot pain? Usually it's related to the way your boot fits. Sounds like you probably have some extra volume in there. So the best first step, I can't recommend it enough, get some footbeds, some drop-in footbeds, or custom orthotic, just something that to support the bottom of your foot and make sure that your foot's not moving around as much as possible. And it could also maybe be related to your stance, but I would maybe play around with your stance a little bit. But if you feel like you for sure do have some movement in your boot, that's probably the culprit there. So I would try to address that as best you can. Luke Bright asking, will a new snowboard get softer as you use it? For the most part, yes, boards will break in and they will get a little bit softer, a little bit. It's not going to be a drastic change. So I would say, you know, it maybe, you know, like 1 or half a point on like the flex scale. It's not going to be a huge difference, but yeah, it's going to get a little more buttery. Those flex zones are going to get more defined. The board's, you know, once it breaks in, it's going to be flexing where the manufacturer wants it to flex. But you know that you have things like Burton Infinite Ride. So like the flight attendant and a lot of Burton's higher end boards, they're going to do that Infinite Ride tech. So basically what they do for that is they overbuild the board, so it's actually stiffer than they want it to be in the end when it comes straight out of the factory, and then they put it in a machine that flexes the board over and over and over and over and breaks it in for you. So the idea is that it's already broken in and it's not going to change for the life of the board. So you should be able to ride it, you know, season after season, and it'll still feel the same. But most companies' boards are going to break in and change a little bit over time. Awesome, guys. Thank you all for being here. I see we're back up to 130 people. Stoked you guys hop back on here again. Sorry about that interruption. We're going to keep going for another, let's say, 10-15 minutes. I'll answer as many questions as I can, guys. Appreciate you all for being here. Sebastian, have you tried the Arbor Coda camber yet? No, I haven't. Arbor's another one of the brands I'm going to try to run through pretty much all their boards in that March and April timeframe I've been talking about. I do know that the Coda camber is the most aggressive board on their line. It comes in a rocker and a camber shape. I've ridden the Iguchi Pro, which is going to be one step below the Coda camber. So I would say, personally, I would recommend the Iguchi Pro. I think that has enough stability for pretty much anything that you want to be doing. But if you really want that high-end, aggressive snowboard, high-speed charging, carving, you could check out the camber or the Coda for sure. But I think, personally, the Iguchi Pro I've had a really, really good experience with it, and I would highly recommend that one as well. Robert, will you ever come out to Minnesota to take rope tow park laps? I would love to, man. I like Troll, Highland Hills. I really want to get out there. That was one thing that I never had at my home mountain. We had a rope tow, but they would never let us use it for park laps, which is crazy as it sounds. That's just kind of how the setup was. We maybe got it for like 1 to 2 weeks out of the year for a little park setup. So yeah, I would love to, man. No plans in the books yet, but I would love to come and shred with you guys. That would be amazing. Those parks look so fun, and you can just lap and lap and lap. It'd be amazing. I saw a good question come through here from Nick Carter. The GNU Headspace versus Yes the Greats. Yeah, awesome question, man. Those are actually Those are actually two pretty comparable boards. We have a video review for both of them on the channel. I also have a written review on the website boardarchive.com if you want to check that out. I would say personally, I prefer the Headspace, although I think the Greats is a really, really awesome snowboard. The Headspace is the only board that you're gonna find on the market that has a camber dominant profile, magna traction, and an asymmetrical side cut. So that was one of the big things that attracted me to the Headspace. I actually rode it as my personal board last year, and I'm still a big fan of it. They didn't change it at all for this year. Still nice and buttery, nice and poppy, good kind of do-it-all freestyle snowboard, I'd say, just on the softer side of medium. The Greats is going to be pretty similar. The two biggest differences is that it is a cam rock profile, so it's camber between the feet with more rocker in the nose and tail. So it's going to be a little bit more pressable, a little bit more buttery. You still get the asym side cut, and you're going to have, I want to say they put their underbite tech on it. I'm not 100% sure on that, but underbite is not on the same level as magna traction. So that was one of the most awesome things I thought about the Headspace, was that you really have that versatility in variable terrain. It's going to have strong edge hold and grip regardless of what terrain you're on, and it didn't trip me up on rails either, which is something a lot of people seem to think magna traction is going to do. I really don't think that has that big of an effect on rails. So I would say if you want something a little more buttery, check out the Greats. If you want something a little bit more versatile on variable terrain, check out the Headspace. But yeah, great question, man. Appreciate it. And I saw another question asking about, I lost it now, I'm sorry, man. It was asking about Zip Tech from Volcom, which I think is rad. I run Volcom pants and a Volcom jacket, so yeah, if you guys don't know, Volcom Zip Tech, I think Kevin had featured this in one of the videos in the past. Basically, your jacket zips into your pants to effectively make like a one-piece suit where literally no snow can get in through the back at least, which is pretty rad. So I've been using it on the trip in Europe. Any powder day I try to use it, and it's pretty awesome. Definitely a nice little bonus that Volcom throws into their tech. They have really great outerwear. I'm a fan. Athos Triglianos, favorite butter trick? Definitely gonna say the backside 180 to switch tail press, cab 360 out. That is my go-to, and I found out recently that I've been doing that trick for like 8 years. On Patreon, I posted my first ever snowboard edit that I ever made, so if you guys are curious, you can see that on Patreon, and I do that trick in that video. So I've been doing it forever, and it's really fun. It's my go-to. It's one of the main tricks that I do to feel out the butterability on when I'm testing out the snowboard. So you'll see it a lot in a lot of the reviews as well. Oh, here's an interesting question from Ali Ertesman. Can I make a snowboard boot smaller? So unfortunately, you know, one of the sayings in the shop I work at is, you know, we try a lot of, when people are trying on boots, especially in the shop, they're like, oh man, this feels so tight, like I feel pressure on my toes, this doesn't feel right. But really, that's how a brand new boot is going to fit, because pretty much all boots come with customizable liners that are going to pack out and create more volume over time. So you want to account for that, and if you don't, you wind up with a boot that's too big and your foot swimming around in there. And we say, you know, there's a lot we can do to make a boot bigger. There's not a lot we can do to make a boot smaller, unfortunately. So I would say, you know, you could maybe look into getting a smaller liner and putting that in the boot, but at that point, you know, it's probably a good idea to just go ahead and get some new boots. Other than that, you know, you can maybe look at getting some shims to put under the insole that'll take up some volume top to bottom. But if the boot's too big lengthwise, there's not a whole lot you can do, man. You know, there's like J-bars and those other customization things I was talking about earlier that kind of could maybe work, but for the most part, it's a little bit limited, and it's something you'd want to go to like a ski or snowboard boot shop to help you out with. You don't want to just be like putting things in your boot to try to take up space. Jib Jeep 79, do you recommend molding the liners with heat? Yes, I do. If your boot comes with a heat moldable liner, I highly recommend it. It basically takes a good chunk of the break-in period out of the process when you're buying new boots. So I definitely would recommend it. All right, guys, I'm just gonna make sure no other super chats came through here. I think we're looking good. And I'm gonna scroll up for a bit, and I'm just gonna do a quick speed round. I'm just gonna try to answer as many questions as I can. And I am gonna start here. So, Ollie Steven, favorite video was girls' first day snowboarding. Will you be doing any more coaching videos soon? Glad that you liked it. I know Kevin and Chris did that one. Not sure what their plans are, but I'm sure they maybe will. I don't know. Ask Kevin on the Friday live stream. Jared Heber, will snowboard camelback in PA with me? Not exactly sure what you mean by that, man, but I'm glad you're getting out on the snow. Jonas Plank, Evil Twin versus Global Warmer. I would recommend the Evil Twin. The Global Warmer's more jibby. Mikolaj, hey TJ, greetings from Poland. What board would you choose for all mountain freestyle, Capita DOA or GNU Headspace, and what length should I choose? So I will answer the first half of that one. That's a pretty in-depth question, man. I would say for all mountain freestyle, I'd go with the Capita DOA. It's going to have a little bit more aggressiveness to it. If you're okay with something softer, the big bonus on the Headspace is the Magna Traction. And look at the sizing charts to pick the best size. Snow Moose, Volcom Zip Tech, good or bad? It's awesome, man. Yeah, if you have a Volcom jacket and pants, definitely recommend using it, especially on a powder day. Where's my boy Chris? Chris is out in Whistler. Got to hang out with him a little bit up there. Super stoked to see him. Wish Chris some healing vibes. He'll be back soon, better than ever. Can't wait to be shredding with Chris again and to see him in some more videos. Dan Diaz, do you guys film with a GoPro 5 or 6? We film with the Hero 6 and the Karma Grip. Athos Triglianos, Burton Malavita versus Burton Genesis. I would go for the Malavita. The Genesis is a really, really aggressive binding. So yeah, more of a specialty binding. In Motion SLB, what up guys? Stoked you're on here. Oranges or Cliff Bars on the chair? Oranges, for sure. You guys know this. You guys know that answer. Cliff Bars are good too though. Austin B, where in Colorado do you live? I live here too, would love to shred. Yeah, I'm in Silverthorne, ride Keystone a lot of the time. Eric Dye, biggest crash ever for you? I would say I came up short doing a 720 on a big jump here in Colorado and I broke my ankle. That was the worst one. Opinions on Mountain and Twin Pig? Not sure what you mean by that, or if you're talking about the War Pig, but the War Pig is a good kind of all-mountain freestyle board, good for carving as well. Kyle Butler, he's in Dillon, Silverthorne. That is correct. Out here in Silverthorne today. Got some snow coming down. A little bit cloudy out today. Duncan Harmon, TJ, what are the disadvantages to sizing down on a snowboard? Thank you. I would say the biggest disadvantage is that you're losing stability, but you're gaining maneuverability and pressability. So those are kind of that's the quick answer to that. Are you going to do any more Yes board reviews? Yes, I do plan on it. Hoping to get on a bunch of those as well as some more Jones this year. What do you think about the ETA? Love it. Definitely great jump snowboard. Love the 3BT. Love the pop. Really solid snowboard. Been loving it. Porter Johnson, are you going to Copper Mountain? Definitely plan on getting out there at least a couple days this year. Hopefully when Kevin comes to visit, we'll be going out to Copper as well as the rest of the resorts on our pass. Copper is not on our pass, but I think we'll still get out there. All right, guys. Any plans to do safety vids like avalanche or tree well stuff? There is a tree well video on the channel, and we're probably not going to be giving avalanche advice, if I'm being honest. You need to go take a course for that. That's the best way to go about that. And which gloves are best for all day shred? I have been really happy with my Crab Grab gloves. So that was the Crab Grab Punch Mitt, and I'm on some Dakine gloves currently as well, but I would recommend some mid-weight mittens. Awesome, guys. So I think I'm gonna call the speed round there. Thank you guys all for hopping back on the live stream. Sorry again for that interruption. I'm gonna take about a 10-minute break, go inside and warm up and get set up to go live on Patreon. So if you guys wanna hang out with me there, that's patreon.com/board archive. A little bit of a more casual conversation, so hope to see you guys there. Kevin also has a Patreon that you should check out, patreon.com/snowboard pro camp. Yeah, on both of them, you know, getting bonus live streams, tips, behind the scenes stuff, things like that. Yeah, got the merch. Let me know what you think about the new hoodie in the comments below, if that's something you guys would be stoked on. As I mentioned, this is a super limited run for the first run. There was only 12 made. I only have like 9 left. But yeah, I would love to know your thoughts on that. And Kevin will be going live on Friday. Assuming everything goes smoothly, we will be in Japan. So stay tuned, guys. Lots and lots of great videos still to come this season, and I will see you guys soon. Bye, guys. Hope you guys have a great day.